Welcome back, people. We are live once again. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you all had a good Christmas and a good New Year. I am delighted to say this week we're joined by Harry. Harry, how are you doing? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you.
Where you're from.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, thank you for letting me come on.
So tell me a bit about you, what your channel, etc. When you do shows, what it's about.
Yeah, so I created a page, like an independent hub for everything Tottenham. We've been doing it since 2021. Actually, first started on YouTube originally with the first channel. The aim of it is like keeping it up to date, like basically like asking the fan base questions, update with transfer news. Like you've got all those big Spurs pages. I'm just like created a new one, starting new. But the good thing is, since Christmas, the last couple of months, actually, we've seen a lot more growth than we have for like a year. Yep. So it's all of a sudden starting to build, and we've been talking with other big Spurs pages as well. So it's good to see connecting with big pages. Yeah, so I'm also the admin and founder for that page as well. So yeah, it's exciting.
And what's the page called for people that don't know?
Scarfey Spurs Talk.
Scarfey Spurs Talk. Well, I'm very, very happy to have you here today, mate.
Thank you.
So it's been a couple of weeks since we've done a show, actually. So we've missed out on quite a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Boxing Day disaster.
Yeah.
Well, not actually, it wasn't Boxing Day, was it? It was Boxing Day
New Year's Day, yeah.
It was Brentford, wasn't it? And even that wasn't great.
No, it wasn't great. No.
Standard Spurs performance in both games, really. First half against Brentford, we were hopeless.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Villa, oh my God, Villa at home.
Dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
I saw a stat. It was the 10th game in a row that we'd gone 2-0 down. Or
shocking. Can't keep doing
that is, I mean, I don't even know where to start with it, to be honest. It's I don't want to talk too much about the negative stuff about the game, because a couple of days ago we did actually put on a performance.
We did, and we scored first.
Yeah, so just give me your thoughts on, just briefly, on the games post-Christmas, and then we'll get onto the good stuff with the 4-0.
All right, so Brentford, like you said, first half there's only one team, that was Brentford. I think second half it's good we showed a bit of resilience and we were able to come back. But what we've got to understand is we can't do that against big teams like Liverpool City, because we won't be able to come back. Got stronger teams, stronger defence. Your second team, perhaps we could have won it in the end. We had the chances, but it could have gone either way. So I think the draw was probably a fair reflection. But obviously a bit of frustration after that first half, because we believe that's a game that we could win going into tough fixtures after the first half display. That was my birthday, Boxing Day. So yeah, that was a good system. Thank you. I hope we turned it around and won. New Year's Day, I also went. I mean, I thought we were dreadful. Once again, obviously, like conceding first, and I thought going to half time, I thought we haven't conceded. We're still in the game, but second half, I thought we were as bad. So yeah, so it's good to see against Palace.
What do you put that down to? Like, what do you? I mean, for me personally, I know what I put it down to. So the bench was horrendous in both games.
It's terrible.
Lack of depth in our squad is
not good enough.
Glaringly obvious for everybody to see. But I do think that, and I love Antonio Conte, he has to have some accountability for the performances, because at the end of the day, it's his job to motivate the players, no matter who they are, to get results. Now, our squad on paper is better than Aston Villa's squad on paper.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
We should not be getting beaten as badly as we did at home.
No,
against that Villa side. So I do think Conte has to take some of the responsibility, and I'll get onto the other reasons why and the other reasons for that later on, because we are going to talk about Enic and we are going to talk about Daniel Levy.
That's
going to come. Everybody who follows this channel knows my strong opinions on Enic and Daniel.
I agree with you as well. Yeah,
so we will get to that, because I want to wait for Wynnie to get here before we get to that, because I know he's got some opinions as well.
100%.
But what do you put it down to? Why has that been happening for the last 10 games?
I don't know. I think it's an interesting one. I think that Conte has to really get into the players perhaps at halftime, really rip into them. But we saw halftime against Aston Villa, 0-0. We end up losing the game 2-0, so perhaps it didn't work. I don't know if it's a lack of motivation. It seems stupid because obviously, you're playing for Champions League spot, playing in front of 62,000. So it shouldn't really be a lack of motivation. I think it's interesting though, but perhaps that players just need a bit of encouragement, or perhaps because I've noticed like against Palace, it's fairly even game until we got the first goal, and then we kickstart. Yeah. So I think a goal for us changes a lot, and I think the players struggle until we score, which is silly, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's frustrating. To give you an example about how passionate I am, I had to take a couple of weeks break from the channel. I let Luke and Winnie carry on without me for 2 weeks because I was before Christmas, I was so angry.
Yeah.
And I was so sick of it that I said, I can't do a show because I'm likely to get banned for the language that I use because I'm not happy with how things are going. So
I understand,
it officially broke me for a couple of weeks. But I have to say, I went into the Palace game thinking we'd lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had the expectation, Palace away, under the lights.
Never going to be easy.
Never going to be
cold, windy night.
Exactly. Our form said to me, okay, we got no hope here, no chance.
Yeah, I absolutely thought that,
Well, I mean, where did that come from?
I know. I didn't even expect it. As you said, I went into the game thinking, oh God, I think we're going to lose. It'll be difficult. Because I actually went into the Villa game feeling quite positive. New year, I thought we'd be all right. But after that Villa game, I just thought, Palace away is going to be difficult. And that first half, I was like, oh, I'm glad we haven't gone behind. But it's just like, it was, worried. It wasn't great. I think, we can still go on and lose here. But that second half was so much better.
Winnie's here. How are you doing, Winnie?
And apologies for that. I just had a couple of things to sort out before I could.
No problem at all.
The conversation.
What we're talking about, Winnie, very quickly is why we've been conceding so many goals and going behind in the last 10 games, and what the heck happened against Palace.
No idea.
What was the change? You're pretty good at putting things into context, Winnie. You're pretty good at just going, it's this, and this, and this, and this. If I said to you right now, whose fault is it that we're playing games the way we are, going 2-0 down 10 times in a row?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Go on.
So I don't think we can point it on one specific thing. I think it is just an amalgamation of all different aspects. I think we have to blame Conte at some point because it's his job to get those players up for the occasion, whether it's Aston Villa at home, whether it's Crystal Palace away. The occasion is the same. We need, he needs to ride his players up and get them ready for it. So then we also have to put account onto the players for that. So maybe Conte is doing that, but the players are just not being receptive to it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I mean, for us to go behind like 10 games in a row, whatever the silly record was, that's unjustifiable. Like that's not that. No disrespect to the teams on the bottom, but that's like a. I mean, the Burnley aren't even in the Premier League. That's like a Burnley kind of stat. Those lower teams, you expect them, but not Tottenham Hotspur. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the conceding thing. What I will put that down to is I look at us now. And I look at our attacking options. They get clipped, world class. We've got world class attacking options. We've got Harry Kane, we've got Heung-min Son, we've got Kulusevski, we've got Richarlison, who showed what he can do at the World Cup.
Definitely, yeah.
We've got someone like Brian Hill, who is now kind of showing what he can do.
Yeah.
We've got.
Mate, do you remember I got slandered? Luke was like, when Luke asked me the question in 3 years' time about. So Harry, Luke said to me, the other host on the show said to me a few weeks ago, who was it? Would you rather have started in a Champions League final in 2 years' time, Brian Hill, or who was it? Lucas Moura, he said.
No, I think he said too. Yeah, if I could like picture towards the future, and you've got Brian Hill starting in a Champions League final, would you be happy?
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was along those lines, and you said, "Oh, yeah, definitely."
Yeah,
we share that opinion, don't we? We both.
Yeah, he's a weird one, Brian Hill. I think if he toughened up a bit and got a bit stronger, then he could be excellent.
Yeah, I think he has the potential. I think he's like a little spark when he kind of comes on, like his little cameos. I think he was good against Palace as well. I think he's now proved what he can do. I think even off the bench, he can be, have an impact.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that unfortunately for him, that's what it's going to be, is because we've got, like I just mentioned, we've got Richarlison, we've got Kulusevski, we've got Kane, we've got Son. He's not going to get in ahead of them. However, if we've got, if we're up against it, or if we're drawing, their defense is getting tired. If we've got a Brian Kill to bring off the bench,
I think it'd make a difference.
100%. I'm very happy with that. But so just going back to what you said, Dave, I don't really know what to pinpoint it on, but I do think that we can't pinpoint it on one specific thing.
Here's a question to both of you. Here's a question to both of you. Okay, I'll start with you, Harry. Do you think this is a bit of posturing from Conte in terms of the way the teams are coming out in the first half, in terms of the bench that he's picking, no attacking players, not even putting like a Will Lancashire on the bench or anything like that? Do you think this is Conte saying to the board and to Levy, and we will get onto them, I promise you, I'm coming. But for now, do you think this is Conte saying, look what I've got to work with. You want me to do things with this squad. You want me to achieve fourth, etc. We had a miracle last season, blah, 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 blah. But you have to give me the tools to be able to do it. Do you think it's a bit of that?
I do think that he's secretly sending a message. I mean, I think he wants Levy in to look at that bench and go, look, it's really weak because there's like no Will Lancashire. Surprise, that's a really weak bench. So I do think he's sending a message to Levy, going, look, this is how much squad depth we have. It's not enough. So if you want us to get top four, then you need to invest. I do think that he was sending a message by the bench personally. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So and the other flip side to that question, I want to ask you, Winnie, is can Conte be asking that question? Can Conte be saying, look, guys, this is what I've got to work with. You need to back me, when he won't sign a new contract?
This is it. This is the thing, and I've seen it flying about on Twitter, and I do genuinely believe that Levy, etc., are right in what they're thinking, because if we want to, if we want to, if they want to invest into the team and into a project and the type of players that we want and the type of players that the manager wants, we need some assurance that manager is going to be there. It makes no sense to make these signings that he likes. He likes strong, athletic, physical wing backs. Now, if that's what he wants, I'm sure, this is going to be the debate that we're going to get onto later. But I'm sure that they will sort him out of what he wants. But they do need assurances that he's going to be there. What's the point? There's no point if he's just going to go, actually, do you know what? In 6 months' time, I don't fancy this project anymore. I'm just gonna piss off to, I don't know, Italy or manage some other team in Europe, and leaving us with these players that he's brought in for his project. Just sitting there doing nothing because we don't really know. We have no identity. We don't know what we're going to do with them. So I think he needs to, or even if he's not going to commit, he needs to show the board. And do you know what? Recently, I mean, Stellini come out in the press conference and he didn't say it directly, but he kind of made little comments that as like a little collective, they're going to stick around for the long term. But I do think it's as long as we match their ambition. Because Conte's Pochettino, when he was here, yes, he wanted to win the league, but he was happy to just sit in and around fourth and just get on, because that was our step at the time. At the time, going from a 6th, 7th place side, all of a sudden jumping up to fourth into the Champions League, the unknown, which we weren't used to. Whereas now we need to make that step, and we've got a manager that is used to that step. But we do need to give him what he wants, but we also need some assurance.
The caveat is, what do you think, Harry? Do you think the caveat has to be that without a contract or without some commitment, the board is unlikely to give him what he wants in terms of the transfer window?
Yeah, and I agree with what you said. I think obviously my opinion is on Enic and Levy, but you can understand that because Conte hasn't signed a new contract yet, why they wouldn't give him all of a sudden in January give everything that he wants, because if he's, he doesn't sign a new contract and the next manager doesn't like those players and he has more wasted money. But at the same time, I don't think Conte will sign a new contract until the club actually shows some ambition in the transfer window.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's a cycle.
Like 22. What do you do? One side wants to commit.
Yeah, definitely.
No side, Levy or Conte are going to commit until they receive what they want from the other
player.
So, this is going to bring me on nicely. That's teed it up very nicely, Winnie, actually. Okay. So, we all know we played well against Palace. Great. I want to move on. I don't want to talk too much about that. Today's show is about Enic and Levy, the disruption with the fans. I've never heard chants that loud at a game.
No, definitely not.
I do want to call out some of our fans though. For the horrid stuff, the it should have been you chants, etc.
That's wrong.
I don't agree with that. I think that's disgusting.
No,
I think if you're doing something like that, you're an idiot, personally. It's okay to be Levy out. It's okay to be Enic out. It's okay to be Levy in and Enic in. But what you said when he tees it up nicely. So, what I'm thinking from Conte's point of view is this is a board that have never historically backed a manager, no matter whether they've committed their long-term future or not. You can go right back as far as sacking Martin Yo at halftime. You can go back as far as Harry Redknapp asking for Luis Suarez and getting Luis Saha, and you can go even further. You can go a bit closer near in the future when you had, say, for example, Pochettino saying that I want to sign Bruno Fernandes and I think it's Ruben Dias.
Got Gedson Fernandes.
And got Gedson. Yeah. That was Mourinho. But he got Lo Celso. And then you had Mourinho, who wanted somebody else and got Gedson. And, this goes back.
Rodin as well.
It's like a consistent theme with Enic. And it's always the same thing. We as a club, make so much money. I heard a statement from Paul O'Keefe, and we probably all follow Paul, who said the other day, we are a financial juggernaut now. With the stadium, with the investment, with the training ground, we are a juggernaut of a football team. We have the ability to really kick on and do what we want. What annoys me, and I am Enic out and I am Levy out, so maybe I'm a bit biased, but what I will say is, if for 23 years you've been in charge of a club, we take on to the heights of the Champions League final, failed to back a manager, and drop down again. And we do this kind of like roller coaster ride with Tottenham and Enic. I think now fans are waking up to the fact that it doesn't matter who we get in. We've had I want to work with a young squad, Pochettino, and bring players in and build players up. And we've had the Harry Redknapps who played a fast, attractive, really good football. Then it was like, okay, now we're going to do the Chelsea reject project. We're going to get Mourinho in, who's a proven winner, and then we'll get Conte.
Yeah.
The problem with Mourinho and Conte is they are money managers.
Yeah.
They work on investment being made. You do not bring a manager in and try and stick square pegs in round holes.
It's crazy.
You bring a manager in like that and you say, okay, we've now got you. You're one of the best managers in the world. Here's the money you need. What do you need? What investment do you need? To give you a prime example, last summer we were screaming out for a centre-back as fans. Screaming, saying we are desperate for a decent centre-back. I'm nothing against Longley. I think he's been pretty decent. But he isn't. Getting Clement Longley on loan is not backing your manager.
No.
Everyone goes on about this net spend with us last season. Oh, we spent 150 million. 42.5 of that was on Romero, who was already here.
Yeah.
Where is this 150 million pound investment in the club that we were promised? That we said, we've taken all this money and we're going to invest it into the squad. Where's that? Where's that money? Yeah. They signed Jed Spence. I feel sorry for Spence, who Conte clearly didn't want.
No.
Not a Conte signing. They backed him by signing Richarlison. Fair play.
Yeah.
Kulusevski and Bentancur, the window before. They don't count. Bissouma, 25 million. The reason we bought Bissouma is because he's at the end of his contract and we can get him on a cheap deal.
Yeah.
Perisic is 33. His time isn't gonna be ideal for a long term. Who else did we sign that window? Longley on loan, Fraser Forster as a backup goalkeeper. There is not a person in the world that can tell me that is backing your manager. We're now coming to a January transfer window, and all I'm seeing is Tottenham won't pay the 45 million release clause for Pedro Porro.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest spent £42.5 million on Gibbs White. Give me some clarity here. I don't know if you agree with me or you don't agree with me. So I'm going to come to you, Harry, first.
Yeah.
First question: are you Enic in or Enic out?
Enic out. Yeah.
Enic
simple.
Out. Tell me everything I've just said. Is there anything there you disagree with?
I don't think there is. I agree with you, and I'm going to go back to your point you made near the start about why would you get like world-class managers like Conte and Mourinho who are proven winners. I truly believe Levy looked at that and thought we're really close to success under Pochettino. Champions League final, FA Cup semi-final, things like that. Close second a couple of times, and looked at Mourinho and Conte and thought they're proven winners. But why bring them in if you're not going to back them? You know that they fall out with the club easily if they don't get what they want. Conte, we saw Inter walked after they won the title because he didn't feel he got the back in that he deserved. So I don't get that. You might as well go with someone like Ryan Mason or Chelsea with Graham Potter if you're not willing to spend any money. So it doesn't make any sense because I believe Mourinho and Conte, whether they're right managers or not, whether you can tolerate the style, I think that's a completely other thing. But you've got to back them, otherwise there's no point having them. They're just going to walk or not win anything.
Mm-hmm. I've just seen a comment from our other host, Luke. I just want to... Now, Luke, me and Luke have a bit of a battle with Enic because he's always sat on the fence. I don't like fence sitters one way or another. This comment right here, I love you, Luke, but I'm going to call you out on this. Agreed spending needs to be better and backing Conte is essential. But look at the progress since 2001. Now, if we were Portfolio FC and not Tottenham FC, if we were Property FC and not a football club, the progress has been amazing. We've got a golf course. We've got a great football stadium. We've got an unbelievable training ground. They own hotels. They own restaurants. But we're not a property portfolio. We're a football team that's won one League Cup in 23 years. Now, people can talk about, but we lost the final, we lost some semi-finals, etc.
Good enough.
Maurizio Pochettino said at the end of he had an interview with Gary Lineker, and he said there needs to be a painful rebuild. Yeah. You can't have a nice house, the stadium, without nice furniture.
Yeah,
it's going to be painful. It's going to be hard, but we've got to do it. Okay, it wasn't done. We got in Mourinho. Who got us all the way to a cup final.
Then got sacked.
What did Daniel Levy do 5 days before?
Sacked him.
Why did he sack him? Because if Mourinho wins the cup, he can't sack him because he's won us a trophy. And
that's just pathetic.
And that's what it is. Now, another comment: grass is always greener. Last thing I want is an oil tycoon in charge or a state which has awful human rights laws.
Fair point.
I agree. I agree with the human rights laws and things like that. That's awful.
Yeah,
but I just want to win a trophy, mate. I literally don't care how we get it. Jeff Bezos could come and buy us tomorrow, and I'd be delighted. Luke needs to be on the show. He's piping up low. But I agree. We didn't finish high with prior to Enic being in charge. But I'll tell you one thing we did have: silverware. I'm not saying there's been no progress. I'm not saying we haven't made any progress. And you can't say we're solidified as a top four club because we currently sit fifth. But I'll come back to you, Winnie. Thank you, Luke. Because I can go on about this all day. Everyone knows
you enjoy this, don't you? You enjoy it.
I do, mate. I do. So back to what I said when I was talking about Enic and all the points I listed, etc.
Yes.
Is there anything you disagree with?
See, this is the problem. So, do I disagree with anything you've said? No, I don't. But am I Enic out? I don't think I am. So this is
why I wanted Winnie on, Harry.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know my views, and the issue I have, right? So the issue I have is similar to Luke. I look at us as a club The football part aside and the players aside, as a club, we have progressed significantly. Like Luke said, we've listed it. We have a fantastic stadium. I could visit that stadium every day, and I still don't think I'd ever get bored. All of this wouldn't happen without Enic, and it wouldn't. It's as simple as that. Now, what you've said and what you alluded to with, backing the managers and stuff like that, 100%, they need to do it. And I don't know, I'm sure we've had this debate and loads of people had this debate many times before, but I genuinely feel like now they've looked at this and gone, right, we've got Antonio Conte. I did think it was Mourinho. I thought, right, we've got Mourinho now. They'll back him and we'll win something. But something just didn't feel right about Mourinho. No. Now, I don't know what it was.
No, I agree.
I do agree, yeah.
Definitely. I'm not sure if it was a behind the scenes thing, whether Levy really pushed for Mourinho, and that's what was that was what
he's a bit of a dickhead, let's be honest.
He really pushed for it. And I think, the novelty wore off very, very quickly because they looked at it and gone, actually, I think he's I think he's a bit of a dickhead. I don't think I like him. I don't think he's the right fit for the club. However, Conte, although he's a very similar kind of manager, he's very successful. He knows what he wants. He is outspoken, but not as outspoken as Mourinho is.
No.
They've looked at this now and they've gone, do you know what? I think we need to invest in him. But it's almost as if you can
just see that. That's great.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's a great shout.
Here's the doing again.
But what I will say about that, actually, I don't understand the FSG out thing because there's quite a lot of Liverpool fans that are like that, but they've been backed significantly.
Yeah.
Significantly. And that's the kind of, like, even if we're not going to go out and spend billions and billions, but if we had the backing the FSG have given Liverpool, I'd be satisfied.
Definitely, 100%.
Imagine if we had gone out and signed Virgil van Dijk at that time when...
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine we'd been given that sort of money and that sort of financial backing to be able to do that.
So
I think...
Sorry, I know you hate fence sitters, but I almost have to be a fence sitter because I agree with what you're saying. So there's elements of me that believe that the Enic Out stuff is relevant, but then, like I say, I look at where we progressed as a club and all the different aspects that outside of the football and outside of the investment of the team. I look at that and I go, like, we are a European juggernaut. Do you know what I mean? Like we are, like, in terms of that kind of investment. It's just on the pitch that we don't see it.
But if I said to you, right, if you were, let's say, for example, you're an alien who's come down from space and you've never heard about Tottenham, you've never heard about anything, and I'm talking to you about football, right? And I'm saying, in England we've got Chelsea, they've won this, and this, and this. We've got Man United, they won a treble and they've won this, and this. You've got Arsenal when unbeaten in, whenever it was. We don't mention them too much on this channel, obviously. And then you said, we got Tottenham. And they go, okay, well, great. Look at this massive stadium. I bet they've won loads.
Yeah.
And you said, I know they won one League Cup and it was, 16 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
If you're an alien from outer space, would you quantify Tottenham as a big club?
No.
No, yeah, do you know what? That's a very good point. It's a very good point.
Yeah, it's a good point.
What's in your trophy cabinet?
Yeah.
The last one we won was the Audi Cup, and it's our cup.
Yeah,
we made it.
Yeah.
The last one. You see what I mean? We made it just so we could win something.
Yeah.
So you cannot. I personally don't class us as a big club because we haven't won anything.
Okay,
we don't win anything. We're on par. We're turning into West Ham.
Right. Okay.
West Ham.
Let me throw something at you though. So, under Enic. So, how many finals and semi-finals have we got to?
Agree. We've got to a lot. But again,
is that their fault that we've fallen at the last hurdle?
It's their fault because we haven't had the depth or the players to change games like that. We went into a Champions League final with an injured Harry Kane with no backup striker.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think you have to look at it from both point of views. And Harry, I'll get your opinion on that yourself.
Yeah.
I think you have to look at it from both sides. Personally,
absolutely, yeah.
I don't despise Enic.
No,
I don't like them very much. I think they're tight as anything. They are ridiculous. I don't, in terms of squad backing. I think they've done. I've said this to Luke, and I've said it on this channel. They've done amazing things with the business side of things. But when the hell do we stop being a business and start being a football team?
Yeah,
that's it. Harry, go on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think business side, very, very good. You've got to give them credit. New stadium, fantastic. Getting us, now into top 4. I think, but what I'm going to go back to is talking about the finals and semi-finals that we got to, and I actually would put that on Enic and Levy, because if we had invested a little bit more, I think we could have easily won that. As you said, you had the injured Harry Kane.
Yeah.
So I think that personally would have made a difference. But to be honest with you, I was Enic in for a long while until New Year's Day against Aston Villa, and I realised I just sat there and looked up and I thought, the singing about Enic and Levy get out of our club. And I actually joined in because I sat and reflected while the game was going on, thinking this feels a bit like a cycle. I don't think we're going in any direction. I feel, as I said, like a cycle, making no progress. And I realised that, managers aren't being backed, and I think fans have actually woken up to the fact that it's time to go now.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I've been Enic Out for a long time. I'm a bit older in the tooth than you boys. I'm 35 years old, so for me this is like a long running thing. My whole family, I've said this before, are Chelsea and Arsenal fans. All my brothers, my dad, they're Chelsea fans. All my uncles are Arsenal fans. So for me as a Tottenham fan, I have had abuse and banter my whole life because of Tottenham. We had a golden period when Leicester won the league. At the end of that season, Enic and Levy should have gone, we're onto something here. There's something happening here. Let's back them. Let's back Poch. Let's give him some money. Let's turn things around. We then didn't sign a player for 2 years. How can you possibly compete with the likes of City, who will spend... I'm not saying we've got to spend millions. We could spend, as a club, £400 million without breaching FFP.
Yeah.
Do you know how little you have to spend for that to happen? For you to be able to do that? Do you know how little you have to spend? We can spend the most out of any club in the Premier League without breaching FFP.
Yes.
I just think, and it bugs the hell out of me, Enic, Levy, thank you so much for this stadium. But I saw a comment and it's like the same. It's like Levy sits in this stadium like he's some sort of emperor and we're all peasants. It's like, look what I've given you. Yeah, great. We've got a beautiful, shiny stadium. I think it's absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
But what are you putting in it? It's like buying Harrods and filling it with Poundland stuff.
Yeah. Would I be able to just say what I commonly say about it is it's like getting a nice new shiny cereal bowl but having no cereal to go in it. You've got the lovely new stadium, or like you use with the golf course. That's perfect. Perhaps a golf course without no players or without clubs, because I think it's a lovely new stadium, and credit to him. That's fantastic execution, amazing. He does deserve credit as well for the business side. I actually admire him, in fact, how he runs the business. But I think on the football side, it isn't good enough. I think since Paratici has come in, though, having said that, the investment has been better. I think that January we struck gold when Benton Kulusevski. I mean, it could have gone, obviously couldn't have worked out, might not work out that well, if it happens again with different players. But I think that worked out really well. I think since Paratici has come in, that idea, I think he has had an influence. I think he's pushed Levy more. I think Paratici, if you asked him, I think secretly he would be on Conte's side, pushing for players.
Yeah, I agree. And it's I mean, I could talk about Levy and Enic all day, but I quantify success as a football team as trophies. I quantify success as a football team as your achievements. Do you think Harry Kane's going to look back on his career in 10 years' time and go, yeah, but I got to play in that stadium week in, week out?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You should see our training ground that I played on. Oh my God. Yeah, no, but what did you win? I got a couple of golden boots.
Yeah.
And then he's having a chat with Aguero.
I think this is a huge...
Yeah, but I got to play in that stadium. Yeah, but
this is a huge part now. This is a huge time for Enic. So I like you say, they've done the business part of the club now with what we've got and what they've built, what they've
done it well.
Given us. It's now time to invest in the team. They've done all the groundwork. All the foundations have all been laid. We now need to then progress. So this is a pivotal time now. I think January is always a difficult window to justify anything. I know, like Harry said, we struck gold with Kulusevski and Bentancur.
Yeah.
No one knew how good they were going to be. But I don't see players we get in January having that big of an impact, because we can't really do great deals in January. But I think if will fans, I mean, fans are already turning, as we've seen. Will fans wait until summer? I don't. Do you know what I mean? Will it stop? I don't think they will.
No.
There needs to be investment now, like you say. I think that this window now that we're in is so significant for Enic.
It's very important.
Yeah, it's huge.
I said when we first employed Conte, and if Luke's still listening, he'll probably remember this. I said on this show, it feels like a Hail Mary from Daniel Levy. He's a quarterback, and he's in the last few seconds of the game, and he's got to make a 60-yard pass, for example. That's what it felt like at the time. It felt like this is the time where he's like, okay, I'm backed into a bit of a corner here. There's a little bit of fan unrest. I've done everything right, and I've brought in Conte. And I genuinely believed this is it. We're finally going to see that investment. And I think a lot of fans thought the same. And now we're looking at, we're coming back after Christmas, and we're approaching the January transfer window. We're getting embarrassed by Aston Villa at home. And I just think a lot of people, like Harry, a lot of fans woke up and thought, this is the same old shit.
Yeah.
It's the same old nonsense. It's the same old stuff. I'm not saying we have to compete. Kev made a good point here about, competing with Newcastle and Man City and state-owned clubs and things like that. I'm not asking for that.
No.
We're owned by a British billionaire.
Yeah.
Billionaire. All I'm asking for is to us to compete on the same level as our noisy neighbours, as Chelsea. As all these people that are owned by billionaires that don't mind spending a bit of money, that don't mind, if, say, for example, a manager needs a £60 million centre-back, going to buy one, not thinking, but he's 60 million and I can get him on loan. I know he's only got one leg, but I can get him on loan. Do you see what I mean? So that, for me, is where I sit with Enic. I just want to touch on something Kev said, actually. He's commented quite a lot, so I don't want to ignore you, Kev, but you guys worried about the Juventus investigation with Paratici? Do you know much about this?
Yeah. I'm not particularly worried because I think I don't know what involvement and stuff he had in anything, but I think if there's any sanctions, it'll just be like monetary. It won't be like anything.
Yeah. No, it'd be a fine. Yeah.
It won't be anything. It'll just be a fine. So if that's what it is, I'm not worried about anything, because I know that nothing like that will happen at our football club. But I just know it won't be allowed. Because not saying that Italian clubs are a bit shifty, but they've got a reputation for a lot of match fixing and all stuff like that. So.
Yes, I mean, a lot of match fixing. I mean, I don't think we could match fix our games any worse than what they have been. Who knows? Maybe somebody had a bet on us going 2-0 down for 10 games in a row. Wouldn't surprise me.
They'd win a lot. I tell you, they'd win a lot.
I'll just say something though. What the annoying thing, quickly pointing back to the Enic side of it. The annoying thing is, as a fan, it won't take a lot to appease the fans and switch them back over onto your side. In terms of, if we just literally went today and gone, actually, do you know what, Sporting, here's 45 million euros. We'll take Porro off your hands. Okay, go on. Leicester, here's 60, 70 million. We'll have James Maddison. Is that all right? Yeah, cool, fantastic. We'll 100%. Do that. And then even if
that is literally what it would take.
Yeah.
Even if they did those two in January and then gone, look, okay, we've invested here. We've got centre backs. They may not be to the standard that we want, but we have centre backs. In the summer, we will revisit this and we will sign a top class centre back to go with it. Yeah. If they just did those three things, so invest in 2 players in January and a centre back in the summer, the fans would just not all of them, but the majority of fans would go, actually, do you know what? Fair play. That's what we needed. I'm not saying they'd be Enic in, but they probably wouldn't be as Enic out as they are right now.
Do you know the biggest issue? And I don't know if you boys agree with me. Okay, is that the biggest issue with Enic that I see, ignoring the investment and everything else, is they don't communicate with us fans.
Yeah.
When have you ever heard Daniel Levy sit down and go, for example, when the European Super League happened, Liverpool's owners, United's owners, they all put out, a video statement addressing the fans, talking to the fans. And we as Tottenham fans, we have Daniel Levy who sits there protected by all these people. He won't do media. He won't have conversations or interviews with media. He sits in this like ivory tower above us all. Like I said, like we're all peasants and he's the king.
Yeah.
Doesn't address us or communicate with us. So as fans, we have no idea what's going on.
No,
we have no idea what his plans are. We have no idea whether his intention is to invest heavily in the summer or his intention is to invest anything now, like you said, because they don't tell us.
No.
What do? We go off as fans what we know and what we see and what we have seen for years. It's that lack of investment. Joe Lewis is a ghost, and Gary just said the same thing. Joe Lewis, never seen him at all. He's a ghost.
No, never.
I don't even know what he sounds like. I know what he looks like. I don't know what he sounds like. So I've never heard his voice in my life, and he owns my.
No, I haven't. No.
And that's the point. If they would literally just, like I said, I'm Enic Out. That probably won't change in the near future. But if they were literally just to come out and say, look, guys, we can understand you're unhappy. We've made some mistakes. We apologize for the mistakes.
Yeah, 100%.
We're sorry for not backing Poch, or we're sorry for sacking Mourinho before a cup final, or sacking Martin Yo at half-time. We're sorry for the lack of investment. But these are the reasons as to why we made those decisions at that time. These are the reasons why we didn't invest more in the summer. These are the reasons that we're looking to change in the future. This is what we're looking to do. This is our plan. This is our 2-year plan. This is what we intend to happen. If they would just come out and do something like that, I'd imagine the uproar that we're hearing at the moment,
quieten down. Mm-hmm.
It would probably quieten down a little bit. What do you boys think? Harry, go on.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I strongly agree with you. Actually, I think that while sitting there reflecting on New Year's Day against Villa, I thought, why am I ignoring the truth? We have a chairman who sits there above everyone else. I actually thought, like you said, like we're all peasants, and doesn't speak to us. We barely ever hear from him. Joe Lewis, never heard from him either. And so I think, but as simple as a media interview, coming out and saying, sitting down, it's not difficult really. Let's face it. Coming out and saying, look, I understand fans are unhappy. We haven't won a trophy for a long time now. We've made mistakes in the past, but we're going to try and get it right from now. Give us time and support, and we will win trophies. Just like a message like that. And then it also with even the release clause, 45 million for Porro in January, doing that and a media interview, it will quieten down. And someone like me, although I'm Enic Out currently, with a media interview, more invest in January, because I actually think January is more important for me personally in the summer, because we're mid-season. We've got still things to play for. We're in the Champions League, FA Cup third round today. Champions League's obviously really, really hard to win, but FA Cup, if we're going to win a trophy, it's going to be the FA Cup. Still got top 4 to play for. Got Porro. Just pay the 45 million. I think that'll keep that will keep fans happy, and I don't think it's that difficult personally.
Yeah, Winnie.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I'm just echoing what Harry.
I know you're Enic in. Okay, I do have a question though for you. Controversial one. What would it take for you to be Enic Out?
What would it take? So, okay, What I will say is, I am. I was very much in the middle. I am more. But I am more leaning towards Enic Out than I ever have been. Yeah. I'm only human. I can only sit there and just watch my team. The success. Let's say success, but what we had in terms of progression, and then just deteriorating back down to a 6th, 7th side club. So I am definitely bordering Enic Out. What I would say is, what would make me Enic Out is probably just a lack of investment in January when we need it the most. Because if we don't invest in January now, I could see us dropping down to, we're lucky that there's some very poor teams in the league this year. Teams like Everton, You know, Everton used to be a team that was up there, and
Chelsea, they've been terrible. They're 10th.
Chelsea, exactly. So this is a season where we're probably lucky that there's other teams out there that are shit, basically. You know what I mean? There's teams out there that are underachieving. So I think for me to be fully Enic out, because I am nearly there. I will admit I am nearly there. What it will take is like I say, no backing in January when we need it the most. And do you know what? I think that'd probably be enough. I think that'd be enough for me to switch to Enic out.
Yeah.
I really do, because like you say, this is a pivotal time now in January, and if we don't receive what we need, and like you said, Harry, I think it would maybe just as simply as going, here you go, here's Porro, here you go, like, you know, get rid of Emerson if someone wants him. I don't even know if anyone else wants him, to be honest. If we were to just, because that I think that's the Pedro Porro problem as well, is we've got Spence. We've got Emerson, and we've got Emerson. Now, as we know, we're not one of these teams. Like Man City have probably got about 4 or 5 very good options in each position that they can swap in and change out, and people are happy to sit on the bench. We don't have that luxury at Spurs. We can't have 4, even though, you know, Royale is dog shit. You know, Doherty's decent. I really like Spence, but for some reason,
I think Spence needs to be loaned out. I think that's what's going to happen. I think what will happen is, if we're going to sign a right back this window, Spence will be loaned out. Emerson will be sold, and then we'll bring in a right back.
Yeah, that's the only way. Yeah.
Do you think an interview like what me and Harry spoke about, you know, some communication from the board, from Levy, would make a big difference?
Do you know what? That's very underrated. I think that would go a long way. I genuinely think if they was to do that, and then, like you say, sort out the Porro deal, and that was all they were to do, I think there would be a lot of people maybe changing their stance, maybe not changing it, but maybe sitting a lot more in on the fences, you know, like myself. But I don't know why they don't do that, because, like you said, Harry, it would take 10 minutes of their time.
It's
not
even 5 minutes.
And this is, and the thing is, comments. Cheers for tuning in, Gary. Before they had the control mistake, we were mid-table and they've given us stability. But you feel Enic has reached their ceiling, and he has a point, because we have no communication, because we don't know what their plan is. Us as fans think, well, they have reached their ceiling. Enough, they haven't backed us in 21, 23 years or whatever it is. It's not going to change. One word, you know, if they come out and gave a good interview and apologized for some of the stuff they've done, I probably wouldn't be so anti-Enic. You know, it probably would help. Yeah. And those fence sitters like yourself, when he could probably push you back towards more Enic in, and it could hush down the chants in the crowd. Because, like I said to you, I've never heard them that loud. You know, I've never heard them that loud. I've never heard them that insane. I don't condone, again, I want to say it again, it should have been you chance. I think that's disgusting. I don't care who you are or who you support. That's disgusting. So as a channel, as a person, as a man with morals, I don't support that at all. So if you're doing that, knock it off, because you do look like a piece of an idiot. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Well, that brings us nicely on to the next point I do want to talk about, because the fun part is January. It is a transfer window. We all love a good transfer window. We all love speculation. We all love, we're linked with this player, and this player. So a few links that I've seen is Dumfries and De Vrij.
Yeah.
And Porro and Edwards.
Yeah.
Coming to you, Harry, first. If I said to you right now, if you could sign either pairing, what would you choose and why? And if you wouldn't choose any of them, who would you choose?
Very good question. The one that stood out to me there was Porro, because you've got a 45 million release clause in a position that we need strengthening. Yes, we've got Doherty, Emerson, Spence, but one of my unpopular, Emerson, I think, needs to go. I think very few fans will say that he needs to stay. Perhaps he's playing because he's used to playing right back, playing right wing, maybe, but for me, he's not a top 4 right back at all. You know, he's the quality of someone like you used earlier, Burnley. You know, they can take him. I don't think we get much for him either. But one of my unpopular opinions is actually Doherty as well. I would also get rid of Doherty. I think he's been okay, but I've always been a bit against Doherty personally. I don't know why. I don't like what I see from Doherty. So personally, and also you've got Jed Spence. I think deserves a chance. I feel sorry for him, but it's obviously something we're not seeing in training. January is always a difficult time. clubs don't like to budge. They want to keep their best players. It's a short window as well. But you ask anyone who's an expert in that field, they tell you January's the toughest time, but actually the most important time as well. But with Porro, what I've been told anyway is that it's stuck at the moment, really, where Sporting don't want to budge and we don't want to budge. We don't want to pay the 45 million. Sporting want to keep the 45 million release clause. So it's stuck at the moment. And I don't think there's any signs of that changing at the moment, but hopefully that can change.
That just sounds so Tottenham, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So Tottenham.
Yeah.
The club is going, look, if you give us this amount of money, he's yours. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's
So
not.
give you an example, right? 45 million euros. Do you know how much that is in pounds?
No.
39 million pound.
Okay.
It sounds bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
39 million pounds. Like,
Do you know what would be funny? Do you know what would be funny if Sporting said, "I tell you what, you can have him for 39 million pound," and Levy goes, "Yeah, actually, yeah, go on."
Yeah, the thing about as well is that the Marcus Edwards thing. So we know why Potts got rid of Marcus Edwards, because he's got a bad attitude. We know that. But we do have a 50% sell-on clause with Marcus Edwards.
Yeah,
we could quite easily go to them and go, "I'll tell you what, we were going to pay 50 million because you got this 50% sell-on clause. We'll give you 30 instead. I mean, you get a little bit more for your buck, and we get our player back." They could quite easily go and do that. So this is what I mean about backing your manager. And people can say January's a difficult window. Chelsea just signed Badia Shaley for $1 million. They're looking at buying Enzo Fernandez for over 100 million. You've got Liverpool have just bought in Gakpo for 30.
Liverpool,
So teams Arsenal are looking at Mudryk for 70 million or 80 million or whatever it could be.
Probably resign him as well, you see.
But this is what I mean. So to sit there, and I understand that January can be tough, to sit there and say, it's January, it's a hard window, it's this, it's that. Well, it is. But if you want to compete with the big boys, you've got to do it. Denzel's a pure wing back, far better than Porro, isn't a bad backup option. Yeah. The other factor for you is you can only invest the money if Conte stays. And your manager might want to play wing back. We have said that. There has to be some sort of commitment from both sides, don't there? They need to sit down and have a conversation, for God's sake. What, are they just ignoring each other like jilted lovers?
I don't think they do. I think, do you know what, if you don't mind me saying, I actually think what happens, I think that Levy and Conte, at the moment anyway, don't talk to each other very much at all. And I think Paratici is like in the middle, trying to get easy. I reckon he goes backs and forwards, saying different things, might get changed on the way. But I seriously don't think they speak at the moment. And I don't know what's going through Conte's head, but I think he'd be a little bit frustrating. Now, you can understand, can't you, him not signing a new contract? I'd love him to sign a new contract. I would really like that. But at the moment, I can't see him signing a new contract because, why would you if you don't think you're going to get the support from board in January if they back him, and this is it might be a slightly unpopular opinion, but I'll be happy just with Porro in January paying that 45 million, because you have got to respect January is a tough window. It is hard to accept, but it is a tough window. It's a short window, but other teams they will try. And with Porro, it's right in front of you. There's nothing complicated at all.
He wants Tottenham.
45 million or not. Simple.
He wants Tottenham.
Yeah. Yeah, he wants to come. So absolutely, yeah.
So, a question for you, Winnie, while we're on the topic of transfers. So, I asked that question to Harry about which two we'd prefer at the time. Yeah. But if I said to you, you could sign two players this window. Yeah. You could either sign a right back and an attacking midfielder.
Yeah. Or
you could sign a centre back and an attacking midfielder. What way are you going?
So right wing back is definitely on there for me. I was unsure because we have got numbers, but if I look at we've got Perisic on the left hand side. We've scored a lot of goals from his crosses. He's
still underrated as well.
Yeah, huge player, huge player. If we was to have that service from the right hand side, you know what I mean? We'd be flying. It's common sense, but we're going to score more goals because we're going to get service from both sides. So I think the right wing back is definitely in there. And it's difficult again. So I would probably lean towards a centre back. So if for me, I'm saying a right wing back and a centre back.
You got defenders, all defenders.
Yeah. I think
I agree.
I think we've got enough strength in attack. I think if we need to, we've got a Kulusevski that can play in a number 10 role if he wanted to, quite comfortably.
Yeah.
We've got a Harry Kane who is probably one of the best number 10s in the Premier League if he was to play in that position. I know he doesn't, but he drops back when he does. Some of the passes he plays are De Bruyne-esque. Let's be honest. They're
Absolutely,
really on point.
I think even better actually as well.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's a centre back and a right wing back. However, I wouldn't like. I would prefer Porro over Dumfries. De Vrij I'd be happy with. So if I could have like a hybrid of a De Vrij and a Porro, then I'd be satisfied. But
absolutely,
yeah. Do you know what? Right? Do you know what I would do if I was a manager? I'd be calling Udinese and going, "We want Destiny back now, January."
Yeah, what a player!
We want Destiny. We want Destiny back.
He's ready as well. You see, he's doing it now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Already,
we've got Cess. So let's be honest. And I'm sick of the Cess project. I've said this before.
That's gone now.
I don't think he's going to be good enough, which is a shame.
No.
Perisic is 33 years old, and he does struggle to get up and down. Destiny is killing it over in Italy. He looks like
fantastic week in, week out.
I'd be getting Paratici on the phone to Udinese saying, "We want to bring back Destiny Udogie.
Yeah.
Keep him at left wing back. I'll go and spend the £39 million on Pedro Porro."
Yeah,
imagine Destiny and Porro as your wing backs.
Yeah, and I agree. And I agree with you. Yeah, and I agree with you, Winnie. I would sign a centre back.
Yeah, do you know why I'd sign a centre back?
Because ours are shite.
So, obviously, we were going to get onto it at some point. But have you seen the lineup for today?
Yeah, so I was just gonna come to that. So I'll read it to you. So the lineup for today is as follows. So Fraser Forster. Oh God, I don't want to read this.
This is the fun part. Listen to this. Go on, carry on.
Emerson Royale, Japhet Tanganga.
Come on.
Davinson Sanchez, Ben Davis, Ryan Sessegnon, Yves Bissouma, Pape Matar.
Yeah. Good to see him.
Brian Hill, Son, and Kane.
Okay. This is what I'm saying.
That
is why I would sign a centre back. Even if we had, let's say we signed a De Vrij, he would slot in there and he would make that defence significantly better. Yep. And if it wasn't him, if he was a starter, then we'd have someone like Longley or Eric Dyer stepping into this defence. Wouldn't make it significantly better, but we'd be looking at it and going, okay, well, at least we've got Dyer in there to try and pull, bash some heads together and sort it out. At the minute, I look at there, who's the leader? Ben Davis. Yeah?
Have you looked at the bench?
I've got the bench in front of me.
Go on.
It's not as bad as it has been, but that's
because all our shit players are starting.
That's what I'm saying. Normally, it's a good one. And then
all at once.
What? Can somebody ask me this question? Why the fuck hasn't he started Spence?
That's a joke. It's a joke.
I don't get it. This is the perfect opportunity
to prove himself.
And this for me tells me that Spence is never going to play for this club.
And like the defence, I'm really happy Alfie Devine's on the bench. I'm really happy to see him because I think he's quality.
Yeah, he's going to be huge.
Is it Harvey White? Is another youngster on the bench. But then we've got Longley, Skip, Romero, Højbjerg, Lloris, Doherty, and Spence.
Harvey White's been around for a long time.
Jerry reminds me of Stephen Corker.
Yeah.
Shows up pre-season.
He reminds me, the way he plays as well reminds me of Harry Winks, one of these players that was always, because Harry Winks was always on the border of getting in, wasn't, and then all of a sudden he had this emergency where he broke into it. That may be the case for White, but I don't know. I can't see
coming on to today, I suppose one good thing is Dane can't play against us.
Yeah.
There is that. Yeah, of course, on loan.
That obviously helps us. Yeah. So because obviously I really rate Dane Scarlett. I think he's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But score predictions. I'll come to you first, Harry.
Interesting. My score prediction is different. It was at the start of the week, obviously Portsmouth. Sacking the manager, assistant coach. I think we'll win. I think we're going 2-1. But I don't think it'd be easy. Just looking at that defence again, it's not good. I have no problem going forward. You've got Kane, Son, and Gill, who
Can I just say,
very happy.
I cannot believe we're even saying this against League One Portsmouth.
I'm worried. I think
I can't believe we're even thinking it.
They could even get it to a
replay. Going, we'll win 5-0.
Do you think other clubs do this, or is it just Tottenham?
Just Tottenham,
mate. It's
just Tottenham.
Do you know what I mean? Because if this was Chelsea playing Portsmouth, do you think the fans would be sitting there going, "Oh, do you know what? I'm a little bit worried about." Do you know, they wouldn't, would they?
Some wouldn't even watch it that they're that comfortable with it.
Yeah, exactly. So. They wouldn't even follow it. They just know.
We'd be watching their shaking. So that's the difference.
Kev makes a good point here. Spence will be cup tied if he's earmarked for a loan. That's 100% true. So right. that could be a reason why. Go on, Winnie. What do you reckon?
Score prediction. I'm gonna be bold, and I'm gonna go for 3-1 Spurs. As always, as you know on this channel, the opposition are scoring. It's a fact. Always.
Looking at the defence is obvious. Yeah,
I know we got one against Palace, but they don't happen for me clean sheets. So, but I look at Kane and Son alone should win that game. I know Son's.
You'd think so. Yeah.
I'm going for a Forster masterclass, and we win 3-0, mate.
Oh really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I
prefer him to Lloris. I think I've made that clear on this channel before. I'd rather.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Forster. I'm a fan of him.
Yeah,
I think when we signed him, it made complete sense because I was like, we need a backup keeper, and we haven't just signed a backup keeper as such. We've signed another team's first starting 11 keeper because he was really there was a patch where the Southampton keeper was injured. And he was the starter, so we've signed another starter. So yeah, I used to be worried, like when we had Gazaniga and we had people like that.
Bellini.
Yeah, exactly.
Bellini,
I was worried. But now I'm not as worried.
No, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I'll go a couple. Obviously, I don't want to keep you guys too much longer because we've been on an hour now. But I just want to mention about the sad passing of Gianluca Vialli.
Yeah.
Obviously, very good friends with Conte.
Yeah.
He's had a hard couple of months, obviously, losing two friends in a space of a few months to similar conditions. So it's not been easy for him. So I really hope the fans get behind Conte today and sing 100%. his name loud and proud. And Vialli may have been Chelsea, but what a player!
It's not just a sad loss for it's a sad loss for football.
Agree.
Not just Chelsea, etc. It does it, rivalry aside, you can look at a player and you can appreciate what they do. What they've done. Like for me, Arsenal aside, I used to look up Thierry Henry when I was growing up because what a player he was.
Yep.
Rivalry aside, you put it all aside. So yeah, Vialli, it's a sad loss for football, like you say,
and a great guy.
And hopefully, that's part of it as well, because you get some people that come out and they, you look at him in the media and you go, I don't quite like you, but Vialli, when he was ever interviewed and whenever you look at him, what a gentleman.
Just the comments from people that are coming out and saying what a nice guy he was. Is unbelievable. I saw, I can't remember who it was now, but ex-Chelsea player said yesterday on the radio that he hadn't spoken to Vialli since they played at Chelsea together in the 90s, and he saw Vialli and Mancini walking on the pitch in the Euros. He was like, I wonder if he's still got the same number. And he popped them a message and was like, hi, mate, best two looking managers in football. And he replied and was like, oh, my God, it's so good to hear from you. We'll catch up and have a drink soon. It's really good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well, etc. And that just shows the character of the man. You haven't spoken to somebody for 20 years. And
kind heart.
Like you spoke yesterday. So, yeah, thoughts with his family. It's not an eeasy time. There you go. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like you say, 58, so cruel. I lost my mum this year. He was 58 as well. So it's, do you know what I mean? It's such a sad age. You never want to lose anyone, but losing someone so young as well. It's.
And I know you wanted to touch on this very quickly, so I'll do it before we switch off, which will be Stellini.
Yes,
I know you're a big fan of Stellini, Winnie.
I am. Yeah, you know what? Like,
give him some credit.
Yeah. I think he deserves massive credit. He's twice he's done it now, and he's had to step in for Conte for obviously personal reasons. He didn't want to address the media when he had lost someone so close to him, and he's done the same again. Just what Stellini brings, like his English is, it's fantastic. And I'm not saying, it shouldn't be, but, like Conte always, his words are always misinterpreted by the media. Stellini, loud and clear, says it how it is. He knows what to say, stepping in for his mate when he needs him the most. And I think what he says about the situation at the time is just, it's just so clear and concise, And I think what he said as well, obviously, he doesn't like to say it on point, but he alludes to the fact that, that they're happy where they are, and that's what I liked about it.
It's nice to hear, yeah.
Fans want to know whether Conte wants to stay. We don't know. We've not got a clue because he never. I mean, really, I know he comes out and he always says the same thing.
He talks in cryptic clues, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's like, I signed up to a project. Has the project been done yet? When the project's done, I may leave, I may stay. Do you know what I mean? It's like, look, we are very happy where we are. Like what more do you want to know? We're very happy where we are. And if we want to continue the project, we'll continue it. It's as simple as that. So I think some credit definitely has to go for Stellini at this time, and in the past when he's done it as well. So
I echo that. But boys, I want to thank you both. Harry, it's been amazing having you on, mate. I hope we can have you again. We'd love to come on your show and do a little bit as well. But just tell people how we can find you. What's the best way to find you? Where your channels are and when your shows are. Would be great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, on all socials, as I said, with the Scarfey Spurs Talk, we have seen some growth recently. I looked into it. I spent about 2 or 3 months analysing, looking at data, research, everything that I could, because we weren't growing much. It's a bit frustrating because it meant a lot to me. So I paused and stopped and thought about it, and that was key, because since you come back, it's really rocketed to the point where we've had big pages. I'm not going to name them, but had big pages contact us saying, good to see growth. Wish you all the best, connecting with them. So it's nice to see. So have a good hopes for the future. So yeah, very good to see at the moment. We're in a good stage.
Congrats, man.
And Wynnie, where can we find you?
As it says right there, Wynnie 1991. Like I say it every time. Don't be afraid to message me if you don't agree with something I put on there. Just message me. We'll have a good chat about it. That's what we're here for. That's why we do this. Me and Dave, we're Enic in, Enic out. It's a good balance. That's what it's all about. It's all about controversial things and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, just hit me up on there.
And you can find me as always at Park Lane Pod Dave, or Park Lane Pod. We're always about every Saturday, 11 a.m. I do want to say one thing before I go, though. Whether you are Enic in or Enic out, quit the bullshit chants. Don't wish death upon anybody.
Yeah.
It's not very nice.
It's not nice. It's not acceptable.
And whether you are Enic in or Enic out, support the bloody team.
Get behind the team.
Get behind the manager. Get behind the team. But as always, we'll see you all soon. Yeah. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.